A term that has been widely used for many years now has become even more popular since the advent of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. It's the idea of a virtual organization. But just what do we mean when we use the term virtual organization? Let's discuss. In its simplest form, a virtual organization is an organization that uses IT and communications technology to facilitate communication and coordination among team members in widely dispersed places, even around the globe. A more sophisticated interpretation might see a virtual organization as an amorphous organization with little or no organizational structure at all. In a virtual organization, there is very little infrastructure. Teams come together, do a job, and disband. There's not really much to hold them together. The idea of a virtual organization has, of course, become very popular because with this idea, organizations can do away with large and costly, often prestigious city centre headquarters locations and all of the infrastructure that these require. By moving to smaller satellite offices in less expensive locations, or even by using individuals' homes or accommodation offices or even cafes, there are huge cash savings for an organisation to make. People often think of virtual organisations as less hierarchical than others, often even moving past the nightmare of the matrix organisation into the sunny uplands of a true network organisation where everyone can connect with everyone else. In reality, virtual organisations often just use technology to replicate another organisational structure. That can be highly networked, it can be highly hierarchical, it can be a matrix, or it can be some form of adhocracy or holacracy. It can even be an agile organisation. If that's the case, then what is unique about a virtual organisation? Well, perhaps nothing. Perhaps a virtual organisation is just a technology-enabled version of Charles Handy's Shamrock organisation, where there is a small central core and then everything else is outsourced to non-organisational members who contribute as needed. Perhaps the constantly reforming teams of a virtual organisation are nothing more than an adhocracy or some form of holacracy or part of an agile organisation. In reality, true technology-enabled dispersal requires more than a catchy buzz phrase and some clever communications tech. The real problems of making it work are far harder, as organisations found out in 2020. First, we have the nature of humanity. We are evolved to work together in small groups located together in close proximity. We do not yet have a full understanding of what it means to supervise, to motivate, to reprimand, to engage, to give feedback remotely, especially when that means crossing huge distances, both geographically, culturally, and in terms of time zones. Secondly, corporate IT is still, to a very large extent, seen as a corporate facility, an overhead function, a cost centre. But if the whole organisation is to go virtual, then that's the nature of the organisation, and therefore the part of the organisation that provides the enabling technology, the hardware and the software, needs to be seen as a core function of the organisation. It needs to be seen as part of its governance in much the same way as HR and finance are. This requires that the people sitting at the top table all have a deep understanding of how the technology works and how the interpersonal dynamics will work in a virtual organisation. And then there's the social problem. Whilst a long-established senior manager in an affluent country will almost certainly have a home that lends itself well to remote working. They will have private space to work where there is plenty of space and good connectivity. Think about a newly promoted junior level supervisor in a less affluent country. Will they have home space to work? Will they have access to the facilities they need? The organisation can provide the software and the hardware. It can possibly even provide the funding to wire in broadband connections. But can it give that person a decent spare room within their home within which to work properly and to maintain good confidentiality and to separate their work from their private and home life? There are a lot of challenges if we are to move to truly virtual organisations. We've made a lot of headway over the last few years, but there is still a long way to go. And that is even supposing that a virtual organisation is the right solution for any given organisation. Please do give us a thumbs up if you like this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come, so please do subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.